Welcome to MojoPlays, where today we're going over 20 bosses that were ruined by repetition in their own game. Before we get started, we post new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring that bell to be notified about our latest videos. The Joker, Batman Arkham Asylum. You'd think the world's greatest detective would get to face Gotham's most chaotic villain in an epic, mind-bending showdown, right? Nope, he's basically a wrestler in lots of clown makeup, jumping around like he's auditioning for a wrestling show.
Get off!
He looks menacing, but the tension is practically gone considering you just have to run around him until he jumps on the ledge and just sends in waves of enemies. The only thing criminal here is the repetition. Genichiro, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro fans, try not to roll your eyes. Genichiro is the boss equivalent of that one guy at work who keeps coming back after being fired. First, you'll fight him during the tutorial phase where you'll most likely lose. Then you'll fight him again on the castle roof, and if you choose the serve Kiro path, you end up fighting him a third time. The first fight is a masterpiece of tension and skill, but by the third encore, you start wondering if this is Sekiro Shadows Die Genichiro. From nemesis to nuisance, Genichiro is the boss that just won't quit. Philanthropist, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain.
So that's the Metal Gear he built for the Soviets.
Impossible!
For a boss hyped as the apex of Metal Gear warfare, Philanthropist ends up feeling more like a chore than a challenge. The cinematic entrance is unforgettable, sure, but once the battle kicks in, the excitement wears off fast. You shoot the weak points, avoid the same handful of attacks, and repeat the loop until your thumbs go numb. Fans have often pointed to this fight as one of the weakest in the series, not because it's easy, but because it drags. There's barely any escalation, no clever mechanics, just a massive mech soaking up missiles like a futuristic sponge. It's epic in size, but painfully dull in design. Rathalos, Monster Hunter World. Few monsters get around like Rathalos. He's the, hey, I know you of Monster Hunter. You'll face him so many times in so many variants that by the time you see his silhouette, you start hearing boss music in your sleep. Rathalos fights are always loud, fiery, and full of surprise tail swipes, but after a while, it's just the same dance on repeat. Next thing you know, you'll be fighting the whole extended family at a barbecue. At some point, you stop slaying monsters and start handing out loyalty cards.
Next up, Diablo.
Sword Machine, Ultra Kill. Sword Machine is a mechanical menace with a taste for drama. The first time he leaps out, chainsaw revving, you feel a jolt of adrenaline. He makes a strong debut as a boss in 03, but then shows up again in later levels like 6-1 and 7-2, less like a rare terror and more like a recurring guest star. Ultra Kill nails that fast-paced, heart-pounding action, but Sword Machine's repeat appearances start to feel like the world's worst open mic night. If you ever find yourself facing him again, just pretend you're in a poorly staffed haunted house. Jump scares included for free. Pyramid Head, Silent Hill 2. Pyramid Head should be terrifying. At first, he's the stuff of nightmares, silent, hulking, and wielding a sword the size of a Honda Civic. But then he keeps popping up like an uninvited party guest, wandering the fog just to remind you that subtlety is overrated. The first encounter leaves you shaken. The fifth leaves you bored and checking your watch. By the time he's chasing you through narrow hallways for the upteenth time, you half expect him to talk to you about your car's extended warranty. Pyramid Head, maybe give it a rest. There are other parties in Silent Hill. Blood-Starved Beast, Bloodborne. If you've played Bloodborne, you know the blood-starved beast is not a one-and-done terror. Sure, the first encounter is nerve-wracking since it's fast, poison-soaked, and desperate, but after the second, third, and fourth variations in Chalice dungeons, it loses its bite. What started as a memorable horror moment turns into a speed bump on your gothic marathon. The only thing starving here is your patience. It's like the developers thought, you know what people love? Poison bosses. Let's do that 5 more times. Next thing you know, you're out of antidotes and out of caring. Chaos Ballad, Final Fantasy XIII 2. Chaos Ballad brings a whole new meaning to the phrase final boss, as in, he never lets you leave. How is it that this guy appears more often than your least favorite commercial break? Whether it's through time paradoxes, alternate timelines, or just good old JRPG stubbornness, you'll be trading blows with Chaos so much, you'll think you accidentally signed up for the reoccurring billing plan. Each battle feels epic the first time, but after the 4th showdown, it's more like an awkward family reunion. Except your cousin can manipulate time and wants to kill you. Wesker, Resident Evil 5.
I expected more of a challenge after all this time, Chris.
Wesker is one stylish villain. Sunglasses at night, mysterious accent, Matrix cosplay, he's got it all. Unfortunately, he also has the stamina of a marathon runner, because fighting him is less of a boss battle and more of an all-day event. First, he toys with you, then you chase him, then he monologues, and then, guess what? You fight him again. By the time you finally finish, you feel like you've aged a decade and survived 3 sequels. Maybe next time just send an email, Wesker. All this running around isn't good for your health, or ours. Burial, Devil May Cry 4. Burial, Lord of Fire and King of overstaying his welcome. He's big, he's loud, and he loves to make an entrance. But even by the 2nd and 3rd time you cross paths, the spark just isn't there. Whether you're slicing him up as Nero or Dante, the pattern never really changes. By the last encounter, you're barely breaking a sweat, more concerned about missing a secret than dodging his flames.
Just like he was.
And he would be?
I must restore my powers.
Mr. X, Resident Evil 2.
Jesus, stay back!
Ah, Mr. X, the only guy in a trench coat who could make the Kool-Aid Man jealous. When he first crashes through a wall, it's pants-wetting terror. Then he just keeps coming. After your 10th run-in, it stops being a horror game and starts feeling like an episode of Tom and Jerry. Except you're Jerry and Mr. X is always 1 footstep behind. We get it, Capcom, unstoppable pursuer. But did he have to pursue us all the way to the save room, the library, and the snack machine? The Warden Eternal, Halo 5 Guardians.
I stand in service to Cortana.
Cortana?
The Warden Eternal is basically Halo's answer to that one relative who never takes a hint. First encounter, you're like, whoa, that's a cool boss. But by your 5th encounter, you're like, can I talk to your manager? Every fight is just more clones, more shield spam, and more migraine-inducing monologues.
Weakling.
You'd think a Forerunner Warlord would come up with new tactics, but nope. It's copy-paste Warden over and over. By the time the credits roll, you'll be dodging Wardens in your dreams. Hopefully the next time, they just send grunts and clown cars. It'd be less repetitive and way more entertaining. Smelter Demon, Dark Souls 2. The Smelter Demon is proof that sometimes the only thing scarier than a tough boss is the prospect of fighting him again and again. He starts as a brutal, fiery roadblock, but then returns with a blue version, more fire, and even less mercy. Is this New Game Plus or Dark Souls 2 Smelter Boogaloo? When even the most battle-hardened players start begging for something new, you know it's time to extinguish this overcooked nightmare. Big Sisters, Bioshock II. The first time a Big Sister crashes through the glass, it's panic time. They're fast, screeching, and meaner than a vending machine with your dollar. But after the 5th ambush, the suspense fizzles out and you start treating her like an overzealous hall monitor. Every level, same cycle. Harvest a little sister, cue boss fight, patch up, repeat. What began as terror morphs into a tedious mess, and you end up wishing for some underwater labor laws. By the end, even the splicers are probably rolling their eyes. The jump scares for this have expired, and we're all out of fear. Marauder, Doom Eternal. Meet the Marauder, the one demon who made Doom players nostalgic for imps. His first appearance, heart-pounding. His second, third, and fourth, frustrating deja vu. The Marauder ruins your day as well as your momentum, popping up with his shield and boomerang axe whenever you're finally having fun. He's less a boss and more a reoccurring speed bump, forcing you to play his way or not at all. Doom is all about power, but the Marauder just makes you want to power off. Black Knight, Dark Souls. The Black Knights are like the club bouncers. They're big, intimidating, and always lurking around the corner. At first, every encounter feels like a white-knuckle mini-boss rush, with death only a careless misstep away. Their attacks hit like a truck, and just seeing one in the distance gets your heart pounding. But as you fight more and more of these armored nightmares, the intimidation fades. By your 3rd or 4th run, they're less legendary guardians and more glorified roadblocks, showing up so often you wonder if they're unionized. By New Game Plus, these guys leave you farming and sweating. Prime Evils, Diablo II.
My brothers escaped you.
So you finally face the Prime Evils, the Dark Lords you've been chasing the whole game, and then you do it again, and again. Diablo II loves a good rematch, but by the time you reach your 3rd or 4th journey through hell, the Prime Evils start feeling less like mythic threats and more like the local bosses at the end of every shift. Whether it's farming gear or just the grind for level 99, their dramatic entrances lose a bit of sparkle every time. Crucible Knight, Elden Ring. The Crucible Knight is every Soulsborne fan's fever dream and worst nightmare rolled into one. Imposing armor, devastating combos. The first time you fight one, it feels like a true test of skill, and the sense of accomplishment is huge. Then you find out there's more than one. A lot more. From Limgrave Catacombs to late-game gauntlets, Crucible Knights show up so often you'd think they were part of a cult, recruiting new members across the lands between. Each fight demands perfection, but after the 7th time, the thrill is gone and you're just mentally clocking in. Trolls, God of War. Remember when fighting a troll in God of War was an epic jaw-dropping event? Kratos topples a hulking beast and everyone goes wild, but after the 3rd, 4th, and 5th near-identical troll, you're just clocking overtime. Each troll mostly reuses the same attacks, same weak points, and same here we go again sigh from Kratos. You'll know you fought too many when you start critiquing their dental hygiene. Variety is the spice of life, so maybe it's time to give the trolls a break. Two-Headed Brute, the Callisto Protocol. The Two-Headed Brute from the Callisto Protocol. This hulking nightmare stomps in and at first you're sweating bullets, but they bring him back a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th time. Same moves, same bullet sponge routine, and the event stops feeling scary altogether and starts feeling more like a chore. By the final encounter, the event isn't even scary. You're more so annoyed that there's no skip button. Maybe in the sequel he'll come back as a single-headed brute. Who are we kidding? This isn't getting a sequel. Which one of these bosses were you just absolutely sick of seeing by the time the game finished? Let us know down in the comments.